Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Crypto Pulse Weekly, your weekly digest of happenings in the crypto markets and brief analysis and market insights. Hope you've all had a nice week. I know it's been. Everyone, and welcome to Crypto Pulse Weekly. Sorry, hold on. Your weekly digest. Sorry, that was my YouTube feedback mic coming on. Apologies for that. So, hope you've had a nice week despite the market turbulence. I understand a number of people have been uncomfortable with the price action in recent days, and especially today as well, when our favorite boy Elon decided to tinker with the market. Anyways, let's get started. Welcome everybody once again to Crypto Pulse Weekly. Let's get the ball rolling. So today we'll go through our usual stuff. I'm going to be particularly in a hurry today because I don't know if you're aware, but there is Bitcoin 2021 conference going on right now in Miami, Florida, and there is a live stream option to join the conference. So I'll talk about that during the Crypto Drip. I'm not really going to share any knowledge sharing today because of that, because I think there's a lot of insights to be gained in the live stream. There is a paid section where, it's behind closed doors, but even for the general section, I think there's a lot of insights and valuable information to glean from there. So I'm going to get to it right away in terms of what we have. So yeah, the volatility we are seeing right now is because of Elon Musk's tweets. And it so happens that those tweets come at the middle of the night when the liquidity is quite thin, or when the Asian market is just about closing for the most part. So you sort of see this kind of wick down when it makes those kind of tweets. I'm going to talk about the tweet later, but basically what happened was the market was around 40K, started coming down, then the most made a tweet suggesting that it was done with Bitcoin. Apparently, I think he was joking, but for somebody that is autistic, they're not able to tell between ranges of emotions significantly from other people. So it's almost like if they're emotion deaf. I don't know if many people know that, but Elon Musk is partly autistic. So because of that, many a time people cannot decode whether it's really joking or he's saying the truth. And I read the tweet later because somebody sent me a message that, is the market going to crash because of this? I was like, because of what? And it was like, okay, because of Elon's tweet. So I had to go and look for the thread. And when I read it, it was quite, I was like, oh, people don't really understand this guy now. Unfortunately, people take him too seriously, partly because people don't also understand what they're invested in. Of course, that's why people like us are here. And it sort of makes me more passionate to, go after this and try to get people as much as possible to know what this really is, so that they're not moved about, like the holy books will say, by every wind of doctrine, quote and unquote. So basically, the guy was having a fun time because at the end of it, he later says, makeup sex is the best. So he was basically catching cruise with everybody, and the market was going crazy. But I mean, I don't think that has anything to. I mean, in the long run, it doesn't really affect the market. From a technical standpoint, I think we've had the nicest correction we could ever ask for. So it gives the market a lot of headroom to progress from here. So we still looks like we have whale accumulation in the 35K region. Recent price dips to that region suggest that the whales are picking up, a lot of bitcoins at that level. So my only advice would be that if your portfolio is 60% down like mine, there's really nothing to worry about. It's, as I always say, it is not perishable goods. It's not going to spoil. It's not going to get molds on it. All you have to do is just wait it out, and in a few weeks' time, you will almost forget that the price was at one point at that level. And I make a lot of reference to September last year, because that was exactly September 2 last year was when the market crashed from from the last, the altcoin rally, the first altcoin rally in 2020. And it was a very hard crash. And I remember having exposure to a particular altcoin, and the altcoin went like almost 70% down. And everybody was complaining. But after a while, I think after the second week in September, I noticed that the price was not going below, was not staying below 10K. So each time the price dipped below 10K, within an hour, it was getting back up. So I remember putting out the word then that I thought it was the time to buy the dip, and that I was beating my chest, actually, that it was a financial advice that if you bought Bitcoin at that time, you can't be at a loss, because it looks like the market has decided that Bitcoin was never going to stay below 10K. And true to fashion, 6 weeks, or not even up to 6 weeks, I think it was after that week, the following week, which was about the last week of September, the market went to 11K, 12K. And from then on, as we always say, the rest is history. Anybody that bought Bitcoin at that time, which was 10K5 or 10K2, at some point will have made 10X, no, not 10X, 5X plus. During the last 5 months, if the person decides to sell. And if you decide not to sell, kudos to you, because it means that you still can make up to 20X of your September 2020 investment this year. So the traders are usually the ones worried about the day-to-day volatility of the market and how the price swings. Understandably so, because traders make money. Traders make money from market swings. But when you understand as an investor that the market is always going to go up, and I'm going to say that again, the market is always going to go up, because in the long term, the market is an evolving market, meaning it's gaining over the current financial system. I know I've talked a lot about this, but it helps to put things in perspective, because when you understand the perspective that this market is trading against the financial system, and the financial system is hopelessly inflationary. Hopelessly inflationary. So it's more leveraged. Let me put it that way. Or you are more at an advantage than even buying a property. The reason why people buy property is very simple. Inflation always goes up, and then it makes the value of the property go up. It doesn't mean that the value of a property is going up itself. The value of the property is stable, but because inflation is always going up, because of the current monetary system, the value of properties always go up. Now you have something that is more thermodynamically efficient than even properties, and it's still at the very infancy. So whether you like it or not, year on year, you're going to have more than 10% gain in the cryptocurrency markets for the next 10 years. At the minimum, you're going to have more than 10% gain. In fact, the projection is that in the next 5 to 6 years, Bitcoin will flip the value of gold, which is 10 trillion. If Bitcoin flips the value of gold to 10 trillion, from where we are today, that's going to be like a $500 or $600,000 Bitcoin. What that means is that if you just simply held your crypto for another 5 years, you'll be sitting on 100 or 200x of the value of your crypto if it was just only Bitcoin. So don't get disturbed by your portfolio going down, because you need to understand that it's like the waves. The ship or the boat does not get disturbed because the waves are moving. That's the terrain on which the boat is moving. And the boat actually needs the wave to be able to navigate. You need the water to be able to move. So allow the market to do the heavy lifting for you, and don't worry yourself about whether the price is going to 20K or it's going to 15K. I don't think the price is going to sink below 35K going forward. We'll see what will pan out in June, but I don't think the price is going to go any lower than that, especially because you have this kind of Bitcoin conference going on. Usually it gives people a lot of pump to go and buy more Bitcoin. So I expect to see a lot of action starting from tonight on the price of Bitcoin. In terms of regulation, India seems to have made a U-turn. Same thing with Nigeria. And I understand Nigeria is suggesting digital currencies now. It's a bit funny because I think about what happened earlier in the year when Nigeria was saying they were banning banks from getting involved in cryptocurrencies, and everybody started panicking and freaking out. And I was telling, I don't remember who it was I was telling, I was saying that you can't ban something within, I mean, that's not within your control. It's something that's, within your control that you say you ban. It's to start with, I mean, cryptocurrency is completely out of the reach of the government of Nigeria. But even the government of China that has so much control over almost every aspect of its citizenship, they couldn't still ban crypto. So it was foolhardy for them to have thought that way. And I felt really bad, one for Nigeria and two for India, because one, I think socio-culturally we're very similar to Indians in terms of our worldview. We might be a bit different from them in terms of collaboration. They are more collaborative, but culturally and socially, I think we're very similar as cultures. And we're also very tilted towards pursuing innovation with aggression. And to say that the two countries in the world, I mean, India and Nigeria, that have those potentials were the ones that were backing out. It was rather disgraceful. So I'm not surprised that, they decided to make a U-turn now. Probably they've had some people talk to them, but whatever the case might be, they're a little bit late to the party. I hope that, they will get enough traction and get things going. In another news, there's this story making rounds that China is trying to basically move the digital yuan to the Ethereum blockchain. I understand why they're trying to do that. I think what they're probably trying to do is to, one, move to central bank issued digital currencies, but also do it in a way that makes it attractive to the global markets. So the one they piloted within the country right now is sitting on their own blockchain. Everybody sort of immediately understands that once you start spending on that blockchain, they can wake up one day and wipe out your money. They can decide what you buy. They can tell you what you can't and can't buy. So I guess it's making it a bit unattractive for the citizenship. So there's the news going around that they're going to launch the digital yuan on Ethereum blockchain as a way of wooing, non-Chinese participants into that ecosystem. I'm yet to see how that will pan out. I wouldn't want to trade my Bitcoin or any other serious crypto for any, to be honest, any Japanese digital currency. Any digital currency, but we'll see how that pans out. So in terms of sentiment, the sentiment is neutral to bullish. There's still a lot of fear in the markets, but the long term is completely okay. How fast we're going to move is what I'm not sure of, but that we're going to move. It's completely inevitable. The market is going to move back up. I think what the market did initially was just to test the upper limit from after breaking the all-time high, because what happened was we broke 20K. Once we broke 20K, we went straight for another all-time high. Then we kept making all-time highs without really calming down, so to say, for over 6 months. So I think the month of April and the month of May provided relatively good correction. I think I'll show that on the chart as well. They provided us with some relatively good respite to continue the journey upward. So the market dynamics remains the same. Essentially, we're still in the bull trend. Like I still told somebody, no matter how badly the chart looks, there are confirmations and there are fundamentals that tells us that we're completely still in the bull trend. And it's very easy. Unlike many other asset classes, Bitcoin is one of those asset classes where all the data is immediately available online, meaning everything that's actually happening on-chain can be analyzed and can be interpreted. You don't have the benefit of that in any, and I mean any other asset class, including stocks, gold, government bonds, and everything. There will be information that will be without your reach as an investor, even as an institutional investor, But on Bitcoin, because everything is on-chain, you can actually tell what is happening by just interpreting on-chain data. And on-chain data never agreed, really, with technical analysis. Meaning, the days before that dump, we did have a reversal in exchange inflow, meaning a lot of money went to the exchange. But the Bitcoins that went to the exchange were newer Bitcoins. They were not even, traditional Wales wallet. And once people started to dump, we then noticed that a few days later, those same Bitcoins were going into older wallets, older holders, people who are long-term whales who had more than 1,000 bitcoins in their account and they had it for more than 1 year. Those were the accounts that those bitcoins were going into. So basically, it was a collection of bitcoins from the newbies to the old ones. So it was never in doubt that the Bitcoin bull run has not come to an end. So with the Elon stuff, a number of people are asking me that, okay, is this guy going to continue to have effect on the Bitcoin price? I don't think so, not in the long run. The only reason it's having an effect, by the way, is because there are so many people that are new into Bitcoin, people that just joined in less than 1 year. And so those kind of people are sort of looking for validation to validate their investment decision to say that, this is actually the right thing. For people who already understand what the use case is, it doesn't make a difference. If Tesla like, let them buy Bitcoin. If you like, let them sell their Bitcoin. There's only going to be a limited amount of Bitcoin. And what people don't realize is this: because there's only a limited amount of Bitcoin, when the Bitcoin supply is exhausted, it will no longer just be tradable. It will become a collateral. It will become, rigid collateral that you just use it to leverage another asset. So for the long-term thinkers that are accumulating in whales, or that are accumulating as whales, this does not change any narrative. It's only the people who are new to the market, who are just joining, who are not too sure of the investment, are following what CNBC is saying, that this is a bubble is going to burst. Or each time they say that the bubble gets bigger and bigger. Those are the people that are worried with Elon Musk's tweets. Elon Musk's tweets has nothing. The whole investment of Tesla is 1.5 billion. That's, if you saw 1.5 billion, it will be bought. And in fact, let's leave that for a while. So the tweet dumped the price by a bit over 10%. And then, deep got bought because whales have started accumulating above 30K. And as if in a move of defiance, this guy is the founder of the Tron blockchain, said that for every Bitcoin that Tesla wants to sell, that they're ready to buy it. Of course, this guy is already a whale. It's a known whale. It's not as big as CZ of Binance, but it's a known Bitcoin whale as well. And of course, these guys have Bitcoin in billions of dollars, multi-billions of dollars, really. So if he says they're willing to buy up everything, he's not joking. So the amount of Bitcoin that even Tesla has is really very insignificant compared to what some other market players have. So people shouldn't get themselves worked up about what Elon Musk thinks. Elon Musk is the richest guy in the world today because he's working on innovative technologies. He might not be in the next few years if he doesn't start putting not only his balance sheet, but his own private cash reserves in Bitcoin. It will be people like this guy and people like CZ of Binance, or the Winklevoss twins that we'll be talking about as the billionaires and trillionaires of the future. So it's not really something to worry yourself about that the price of Bitcoin has gone down. I talked about a pricing model that is being used very well in the equities market called accumulation and distribution. And it's been in play really since February, almost by the letter. It's a model by which institutions try to make people lose their assets. So they move the market in ways that shake people's confidence. And to the untrained eye, just think the price is volatile. But what is really happening is that at the time you are selling off, not to sell off at a loss, you are selling into the hands of the whales. And then when they've accumulated enough, they pump up the price again. You see the price going back up, you rush back in like a fool, and then get wiped out. So that's what's happening. And that's why I keep telling people, there's no need to panic sell. This is not perishable goods. It's not going to spoil. It's not going to zero. It's been declared dead more than 400 times. It has not been dead. It's 10 years past. So it has more, in real sense, it has more validity and backing in the trust within the Bitcoin community than even the US dollar. Because the US dollar, really and truly, is not backed by anything. But let's go on. I don't want to spend too much time on macroeconomics today. As I said, there's Bitcoin conference going on, and I've been on the conferences most of the day, so I'm eager to actually get back to it. I just felt like we just need to have a big discussion today before we go back to the conference. So yeah, this guy is ready to buy back whatever Elon Musk wants to sell in Bitcoin. This guy, I don't know if you know him. That's Jack of Twitter. Jack Dorsey. He's also the owner of a payment company called Square. He was one of the speakers at the Bitcoin conference. And it was, very insightful um, topic that he spoke on. And he did say there that they were looking to create a Bitcoin hardware wallet in which people can, store their Bitcoin, just like a Trezor and Ledger. I think the Square is seriously looking into this as a means of helping people to store their Bitcoins. And there were issues on, I think, on the censorship of Donald Trump. Like someone was heckling him from inside the crowd and saying, you shouldn't be talking about decentralization when you're banning someone. And the guy said, well, company policies are company policies, and that they can only try to evolve for the future. But that's at the time they had to do what their policy has evolved to. But I think you should watch out for Square. If you're guys interested in stocks, and I've said it before, I think I've said it before. If you're interested in stocks, consider Square stock and MicroStrategy stock. They have very big Bitcoin play. Same thing with Galaxy Digital. They're very huge on Bitcoin, and I think they are the stocks of the future. Tech stocks generally are over. I think they're overcrowded, and there's not much room to grow. These kind of stocks and cryptocurrency ETFs will be the investment of the future. So I just thought I should bring that up for the listeners that are interested in stocks. You should consider you should consider these Bitcoin plays because they are really positioning for the future, as it were. So in other news, we have this story from the UK's FCA. I don't know if many of you followed the news earlier in the year when FCA was saying they were banning individual investors from trading derivatives. So the coinage of the world was indirect, but what they were saying was that they were blocking any new crypto company from selling derivatives to retail customers in the UK. Of course, by the time the UK press took it, they said crypto was really in the UK, and there was a lot of buzz around that. That was what was really happening. And at that point in time as well, they were demanding that all cryptocurrency companies in the UK should go through the checklist. So they have this long checklist that they wanted all cryptocurrency companies in the UK to go through. Unfortunately, most of the companies have been operating before Brexit, meaning that they didn't know any of these things when they were set up. So they have to be scrambling around to catch up. So now they're coming back to say, yeah, just about 5 of the companies have met the requirements of the FCA. The requirements that were not there when this company started. I think this is also bad for the UK, considering that UK is regarded as a financial hub, global financial hub. Just like it was bad for Nigeria not to have caught on from the governments to have allowed a free flow of commerce in the digital currency space. I think it's bad for the UK as well. I hope that somebody talks senses to their head very soon and they actually give, because if they do, UK is more fertile for innovation, to be honest, especially when it comes to this kind of innovation, because the infrastructure is there, the system is there, the system works as opposed to many developing countries. So I think it's an opportunity for them, to leverage on this digital era. But we'll see how that pans out for them. That's what it is right now. I've talked about the Bitcoin Miami conference, complete sellouts. Like all the tickets were bought, and I think they even oversold the ticket because when they were showing the inside of the conference room, they had 12,000 people sitting, and people were still standing on the aisle. And I remember I think it was after my Salos session with Max Kaiser, they had to tell people to leave the aisle because the fire wardens wouldn't allow them to continue with the program. It was very, very packed. I wish I was more mentally prepared. I would have probably traveled to Miami myself, but definitely I'm going for the next one, no doubt. I mean, it's quite eye-opening as an event, and I think that there's a lot to gain for generally anybody just listening, and hearing from the guys that started in 2013 when they had more speakers than they had more speakers than audiences. But yeah, it was a very, very interesting event. I think it's still going to go on for the rest of the day because it finishes like I think 6 p.m. Eastern or 7 p.m. Eastern. So it's still going to go on for the rest of the day and also tomorrow. So if you have a chance, I think you take some time to listen to it. You can see the live stream on I think it's on Bitcoin Magazine's live stream on YouTube. It's just type Bitcoin 2021 Miami on YouTube, and you see the live stream. I just thought to bring that up for people to know that the event is going on. I think it's a very good educational and insightful event. In terms of coin spotlight, I'm doing what I usually don't do, which is to bring a coin that's not even on the main exchange yet. But I came across this token during the week. It's currently on CoinGecko. It's not on CoinMarketCap, and it's currently only selling via DeFi on Uniswap. The token architecture, the tokenomics is completely decentralized in that the creators of this token have bought about 23% of the token. They get 2% for themselves, then they put the remaining 70-something% into Uniswap liquidity. What that means essentially is that they use the overall supply of the token that is left to supply liquidity on Uniswap. What it means essentially, to explain in simple terms, is that when the token goes to exchange from where it is right now, it's going to sell at a very huge markup, because the only way you're going to be able to get the tokens to exchange is if the exchanges or people come to the DeFi wallets or decentralized platform to buy. I found out about it after I think it was launched on the 1st of June. So I found out about it 4 days later. It's you can get a contract if you are into DeFi and you like getting early in on coins. I think Simba is to be honest, I think it's a very sellable name. For the generation of people that watched Lion King and the younger generation that watched the 3D, I think it's a very sellable name. And all that has to happen is for somebody to catch on. I know of people that made a lot of money from tokens like Shiba, buying at 500, cashing out at 50K or even more. For the people people who got in as early as last year, they've sold at very ridiculous prices. So I think it's one to consider if you are given to investments via DeFi platforms using Uniswaps and the like. You get the token contract number on CoinGecko, and then you can insert it into your Uniswap and buy it. Full disclosure, I have some of the tokens already, so I'm not just shilling. I have the token, and my reason for buying is like I think at some point it's gonna blow up, especially when the market starts pumping. So as you probably don't know, if you don't know, what usually happens is the market first has a flow of funds into Bitcoin. When the price of Bitcoin moves up, then the price of major altcoins follow the price of Bitcoin in appreciation against the US dollar. Then what happens is, as the funds start to trickle down and redistribute within the cryptocurrency ecosystem, then the funds trickle into lower cap altcoins and, quote unquote, what we usually call shitcoins. They're no longer shitcoins anymore, because I told you about a guy who was the MD of Goldman Sachs in London, who cashed out about 4 or 5 weeks ago just on Dogecoin. He retired. He resigned. He said he was done. He resigned from his job because he made maybe 11 million pounds or something crazy like that on Dogecoin. So it's difficult to even call them shitcoins anymore, because you never know what hype is going to drive them. So that's why I just thought this one was a sellable one, and the tokenomics look very nice. What I mean by tokenomics is you don't have a centralized supply where the founders are owning the majority of the tokens, and then the unissued ones, you don't know where they are. In which case, they can rock pull project that just collapse the price completely. This one is they've completely decentralized and democratized the token spread. So I think, well, it's not a bad one to hold. So moving on, let's talk about our vital signs for today. The market seems to have gained about 42 billion since we checked last week, but most of that fund seems to have just evaporated into the altcoin markets. So if you check our flow today, we gained 42 billion overall from last week, but then 38 of that is sitting in altcoins. What this is telling me, I mean, in conjunction with the Bitcoin dominance, what this is telling me is that people are gaining more confidence in the market, not just in Bitcoin. And I'll explain why I'm interpreting it this way. You see, before now, people did not even have confidence in crypto at all. So as a safety post of last resort, people usually bought Bitcoin and just held that, okay, all else fails, we can always revert to Bitcoin. But what seems to be happening right now is that people are beginning to see some crazy moves on altcoins, and they're beginning to get more confident in holding on to the altcoins and not selling. You can call it greed, you can call it anything, but I think I interpret it as more confidence in the market. And when that happens, what it then means is that as the price of Bitcoin keeps going up, all the altcoins will keep going up, because despite the fact that Bitcoin has recovered from the 30K dip, the Bitcoin dominance is still going down. Even as I was recording, I was trying to do a screen capture of the market dominance. It was still going down, even though it had gone up as high as, I think, 45%. What this means is that as we go forward and as the market is gaining more funds in terms of market capitalization, Bitcoin is still going to be, not as dominant as it used to be. And it then means that altcoins will be going at a very explosive rate. That's what it means. In terms of sentiment, our fair sentiment is still 21, 27. Last week, last week is, about this time last week was 19. The day before last week's broadcast, which was Thursday last week, we were actually at 11. And that's the lowest I've seen in a while. And I remember somebody drawing a Photoshop version of this gauge and pointing at -99. And, there was blood dripping from it. And he was making a very crazy joke about it. But what this tells me is that because the market is in so much fear, everything is selling at a discount. And I mean, we can talk about Matic that, some people bought 2 weeks ago and, went 100% and came back. Everything is, even though they've gained significantly from where we were last week, but everything is still very much at a discount to where they were maybe in the middle of March or in the middle of February. And as I was saying before, you might not see the prices at this rate again, because I think we have come to that cusp or that nexus in the market where the price has determined a long-term support and is about to take off, just like we did in last September. And you see, I keep making reference to last September because last September was the main reference point before last March. The price have never gone back. So when the price left in last March, it never went back to it. When it dipped in September, even though it dipped significantly more than 50%, it never went back to last March. We've moved up from last September now, and we are 5x away. And even though we've dipped almost 60% or 50% off the all-time high, we've not gone back to September figures. So if the progression continues, which is very likely, we still have about 3 or 4 months left in this bull run, the full-blown blow up top, it means that we're not coming back to these figures. And as a matter of fact, when the bear market starts, we might not see these figures again. You can quote me, but that's my interpretation of the market and the way the market is going. I think when we say we're in bear markets, in a few months or several months from now, maybe towards the end of the year or early next year, Bitcoin will be selling at 100K and we'll still be in the bear markets. Moving on, So where are we? Market psychology, as I always say, we're here, and the reason we're here is because we've had so much fear. Sorry, we've had so much fear um, in the market in recent times, and people have lost confidence and have sold off in fear. And the people playing this game, they understand human psychology. They are professionals in what they do. Like I can tell somebody was like, "Oh, but it's crypto market. Why is it getting manipulated?" All markets are manipulated. All. I shared my experience with you a while ago as a forex trader. I was always getting beat up, even though I was thinking that my technical analysis was perfect. But what was going wrong was that against the technical analysis, you still had the market makers, as we call them, who have a script. And unless you understand that script, you'll be moving in the wrong position of the market. So you analyze the market and say, okay, this is a good time to enter. You enter the market drops 50% and wipes you out of your stop loss, then continues to go up. And you're wondering what's going on. What's going on is the market makers determine how they're going to play the market. And unless you can get into their mind or you have an idea of what is going on, you'll never be able to match the movement of the market. But it's a bit different from cryptocurrency market because, as I said earlier on, this is still very, very early stages. The market is still very young. The market capitalization is still very small. And even for Bitcoin to flip gold or to equals gold market capitalization, Bitcoin needs to go 10x plus from where it is today. So Bitcoin needs to be selling at about $500,000 to equal the market cap of gold. So that's still a long journey. I mean, it might take 3 years, might take 5 years, but still a long journey from where we are today. So anytime you see the market crash, and the press also, they love the sensation, the media, because that's what sells their ratings. So they love to ride on sensation. S&P 500 will crash 50%, and they just talk about it passing. Bitcoin crashes 20%, and everybody's going ballistic. You need to understand that anytime the market crashes, step away and take a longer look at the market. Where are we? We're in the bull run. It's confirmed we're in the bull run. All the on-chain metrics say we're in the bull run. So if the market is crashing, it just means some big guys have decided that they want to cash out, and they cashed out. And in cashing out, they crashed the market with them. But at the same time, some other big guys are buying. Like I said earlier on, most of the wallets on-chain that sold in the last dip were newer wallets. The older wallets simply collected those Bitcoins that were sold and put it away in cold storage, as we say. So the guys that have been stacking Bitcoins since wherever, more than a year ago, they're still the same ones buying the dip. So it begs the question, who are people selling to them? Of course, it's people that probably bought Bitcoin at 50K or Bitcoin at 60K. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin has gone to 50K. I'm like, oh my God, I can't afford to lose my money. This is rubbish. And they sell off, and those guys buy their Bitcoin. And in 4 weeks' time, Bitcoin is back to 67K. And they want to rush in back again. They're going to buy at a much higher price, paying the price of being foolish, to put it mildly. So you need to step away from the market and understand that in this cycle, we're here. For the bull run to be over, we need to be here, which is euphoria. We're not here at euphoria yet because the CNN is not carrying Bitcoin every day. The day you see CNN talking about Bitcoin at 200K and going crazy, then we're very close to euphoria. But we're not anywhere close yet. So for people that want to know where we are in the market, we're still back. We were thrilled when the market was doing well in April, May, but now we're back, I believe. From here, we're just going to go straight to euphoria. It might not take more than 2 months to do that, because what has happened now is that the market has gained momentum. That's I think it's a Yoruba proverb that says the ram or the goat that goes back to get more power. In figuratively and realistically, it's true, because the farther the ram goes back, the more length the ram can run. And physics is mass times acceleration. Momentum is mass times acceleration. So the more momentum it gathers on the way, the more it strike power. So for the market to pull back, you understand that the market is about to slingshot. So that's about enough about physics. That's about the market psychology. So in terms of the technical analysis, let me just pull up the charts for Bitcoin dominance. Sorry, I shut down my computer. Yeah. So this first chart is basically Bitcoin dominance, and if you've listened to me talk about this before, I said Bitcoin dominance has been going down practically since the beginning of the year. So you can see it peaked out on the 3rd of January, and since the 3rd of January, we've literally been going down in terms of dominance for Bitcoin. Now, what does this mean? It means that Bitcoin dominance means that the fraction of the market capitalization that is sitting in Bitcoin has been reducing. In the bear market, what happens is all confidence is lost in altcoins. So everybody moves to Bitcoin in bear markets because everybody sell out on their altcoin, either out of panic or out of reason. So I've zoomed out to the weekly charts just to explain. The red means the market's coming down. The green means the prices are going up. So what I'm saying is, if you check this bear markets, for instance, this is the bear market from 2017, 2018, when the market hit the lowest points well, not the lowest points, the points we're in now in April, May 2018, everybody officially agreed that we were in the bear market. I can switch to the next chart, which is Bitcoin's weekly chart, and you will see that these two tops are similar to the inversely similar. So it's like a flipped chart of the Bitcoin price. I'll do that shortly on the weekly chart. And since that time, Bitcoin market dominance has been going up from 40 up until 2019, where it peaked out at 70%, came down again during 2020 to September. Remember, I mentioned September. Then in September again, started going up. When the price crashed in September, it started going up again up until January, when the price peaked out at 40K. So now the price is down to 42. And you remember what I said about 5 weeks ago? I said my thoughts were that I was expecting Bitcoin dominance to touch 36 or 35% before the altcoin seasons are officially over. Why? If more money starts coming into Bitcoin, as I've said, it means that people will be selling Bitcoins at higher prices. And as the money is settling into the cryptocurrency space, it starts to diffuse into altcoins. As it starts to diffuse into altcoins, it starts to diffuse and major alts, then it starts to diffuse into lower capitalized alts. And then the overall supply or the overall percentage of money flow into Bitcoin is reduced. So because you have coins like Ethereum, Chainlink, and what's the third one? I'm trying to remember. I think Polkadot, that are now being made. They now have ETFs in places like Canada and Sweden. What that means is that altcoins are going to gain more significant traction than Bitcoin in terms of market dominance, because you now have major altcoin caps. I mean, major market capitalized altcoins like Chainlink, Ethereum, BNB, and Polkadot getting exchange traded funds in places like Canada. So institutional money is going into that, further diluting the amount of money being devoted to Bitcoin. Now, it doesn't mean that the price of Bitcoin is not going to go up. It's going to go up, but it just means that of the overall market capitalization available for overall money available in market capitalization, the larger percentage will be in altcoins. To talk about the price of Bitcoin and USDT, let me just show you that stuff. I was Coinbase. So to go back to that view I was explaining the other time. So this is the Bitcoin weekly charts. I need to look for another one. Binance. Yeah. So this is the week. Okay, this is not a good one. Let me look for Bittrex. Sorry, I'm looking for an exchange that has data back. So Bittrex is one of the older exchanges. So this is the weekly chart for Bitcoin. If I zoom it out, you find out that that period of time that I was talking about, where is that? April, May 2018. The peak at April, May 2018 and the peak at December, January is almost like an inverse of what we had. Let me put a logarithmic scale. Yeah, this is better. It's almost like an inverse of what we had in this chart here, this dominance chart. So in terms of price action, this is a very good chart. I actually love this. This is the lowest Bitcoin was back in 2016 when this guy started charting. There's a long-term trend line. I think it's this one. Yeah. I know there's mention of a long-term. I think it's this one. Yeah, everybody keeps mentioning a long-term trend line that's been running since 2018 till date, and that the market has sort of bounced above it for a long time. Even though on the moving averages, the long-term moving averages, it almost appears like we're having what you call a death cross, meaning a crossover between the short-term and the long-term moving averages. It's almost like everybody's like, oh, if you have a death cross, then we're in the bear market. Yeah, technically we'll be in the bear market, but it still doesn't change the overall trend. Because as you've seen, if I draw this trend either this way or this way, we still haven't broken the trend in any way. We still haven't broken the trend. And as the saying usually goes in the trading world, the trend is your friend. The trend is your friend to the end. Do not betray your friends. So I mean, those are those two lines I drew earlier on the larger time frame. So we're still above this long-term trend, and I can say that that's the first thing that any institutional trader or any retail trader is looking at. Where is the trend at? Even when you do have moving average crosses that serve as temporary support and resistance to price, you still want to know where the trend is. And from what I've shown you, and that's why I went to the weekly chart to show you what's happening on the longer term, we're still very, very much in the long-term trend upward. So there's nothing to be worried about. And just to show, so what I did just now was to show accumulation zone of whales and areas where we expect some price resistance or support. Let me switch to daily. The shaded areas are areas where you expect a lot of buying to be going on. So I said earlier on, from 29 to 33 are massive whale accumulation areas. Same thing with 55 to 59. Same thing with 42 to 45. So my opinion, I think this candle is going to go back up completely by the end of today. This is a daily chart, by the way, showing that we were almost like taking a dump, but we didn't quite touch a key Fibonacci line here at 35. So if we go on the intraday level, sorry, I'm getting a bit unnecessarily technical here. If we go on the intraday level, let me shut down this. You will see that the market's already taking a correction here. If we break this line, which is 40K, by the weekend, then we're likely to touch 43. I'm not sure if we sustain 43, but if we break 40K and stay above 40K till Monday morning, then we'll likely have seen the bottom of this correction. As a matter of fact, I think we've seen the bottom of this correction. The lowest we came was 30K. When we came to 30K, we never went as low as 30K again. If you look at, let me remove this volume. So this is the lowest we came when that was 28K. The next one was 31. The next one was 33. The next one was 34. Now, even with today's down, we've come to 35. So if we plot a trend line along this, you see that we've almost made a bottom. You can see here that I was drawing these lines as a inverse head and shoulder pattern, indicating a reversal for the markets. Last week, I think that was last week, that it was looking like the market was trying to form inverse head and shoulder. Some other guys are plotting, head and shoulder on the higher time frame. But I think the market is correcting, and I think it's just going to go up from here. It won't go up in a straight line, of course, but it's definitely going to go up from here. So that's, I think that's what I wanted to share on the slides. So as I said earlier on, you can join the Bitcoin conference online through Bitcoin Magazine's YouTube accounts. Just type Bitcoin 2021 live, and you should be able to get there. So I'm not going to take too much time today because I also want to get back to that conference. I've been participating since most of the day. If you do have a question, please let me have your question on Instagram and on Zoom. On Instagram, just type in your question. On Zoom, you can unmute yourself, and I'll take a question quickly before we head out. Thank you. Dr. Larry, please go ahead. I see your mic source.
Thank you very much. This symbol of it, I was trying to search for it on CoinMarketCap, and I saw so many symbols, so I wouldn't know which.
Yeah, I was saying that it's new. It's only launched on CoinGecko.
Okay. So it's not yet tracked.
It's not yet tracked. It's not even yet listed on CoinMarketCap. It just got listed on CoinGecko 48 hours ago.
Okay.
And when it was brought to my notes and I checked out the tokenomics, I just like, well, the brand seems like a good one. Simba is a very, it's an endearing name in terms of brand acceptance, and the tokenomics is good. So it won't hurt to put a few bucks there just for.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Then setting up P2P on Binance, like if I want to be a seller now, setting it up. I've started doing it anyway, but maybe in one of the days ahead, when we're having sessions like this, or when we have maybe another.
You want to become a merchant? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. We can talk about that. We can talk about that
later.
Yeah, there are not many people that want to become merchants.
Thank you.
No problem.
So I will join you in the conference.
Yeah. Any other question, please? If you have any other questions, let me have it so that we can close and have everybody enjoy their weekend. I see some first timers on Zoom call today. I'm not going to mention their names. They know themselves, and I know them. You're welcome on the call. Don't worry, Bitcoin is not going down anymore. Even if it goes down, nothing's going to happen to your crypto. Is there any particular use case for Simba? It's a meme coin, it's a meme coin, but there is a lot of impetus for meme coins in this bull run. And to be honest, I think part of the impetus actually comes from Elon Musk, in fairness, because we've always known Dogecoin. We've always known Dogecoin was useless, but for some reason, it just caught on. And in fact, relative to some of the other meme coins, some of the other meme coins are actually more useful and more tangible than Dogecoin. So for many people that don't know, for instance, Dogecoin is exceptionally inflationary. How do I mean? The same way, federal governments print money anyhow. Dogecoin prints money every day. About 10 million Dogecoin is being printed every day. So you have billions of Dogecoins going to circulation. It's infinite supply of Dogecoin. Let me just put it that way. There is no cap to how many Dogecoin there's going to be in the world. So it's really and logically, it's not a store of value in any way. It's purely a hype coin. So if you take things like Shiba Inu, you take things like Akita, Kishu, those ones actually still have better in terms of real tokenomics. they have better real life application because for them, they have, even though the circulating supply is a lot, but it's limited, it's capped. So I think Kishu is capped as a quadrillion. Same thing with Shiba Inu, and same thing with things like Simba on the Ethereum blockchain. The supply is capped. Some of them have burned the unissued tokens and have pushed the rest into liquidity pools on DeFi platforms, meaning even the founders no longer have access to those particular tokens. So those ones actually make sense in that, as more and more people get to use those tokens, it gains value just like Bitcoin. But Dogecoin is completely 100% hype, nothing else. That's the use case for Dogecoin, and it scares me every time when people. Anytime you talk to people and they're like, "What of Dogecoin?" Yes, I mean I can put money that I'm not afraid to lose in Dogecoin, but the tokenomics does not make sense. There is still a part of me that doesn't agree with that kind of mathematics. Something that is infinitely printing money every day. Well, it goes against every logic of investment. So every other token, including in fact all the other dog tokens, all of them have burning, either they have burning cycles or they've already burnt a particular amount out of their supply and they are capped. But the Dogecoin mechanism is just like continue printing money, just like federal governments. So if you want to buy Dogecoin, good on you. If maybe Elon Musk will shield it in another year to come, or maybe you have another one that you'll be talking about that will have caught his interest. But for meme coins, regardless of whether they have use case or not, and that's the funny thing. Regardless of whether they have use case or not, when the market is really in a frenzy, all tokens go crazy. Like even the most useless of coins will start going astronomically. I remember a story very well that somebody told me in 2019 of Redcoin. Redcoin is one of those old bull run coins that was a fork of Bitcoin. I think it was a fork of Bitcoin then. And somebody just went and bought, I can't remember, maybe he bought like $10,000 or $5,000 worth of Redcoin because he just thought he liked him. Back the guy was in Nigeria and he bought $5,000 worth. Guess what? By the time he sold those coins, he sold them for millions of dollars, actually. Sold them for millions of dollars at the peak of the bull run. So, I mean, Redcoin today is what's like maybe like 0.000 something cents. But at the time, at the peak of the last bull run, hold on, let me even check. I mean, it's not something that is far off RDD to corroborate my story. Yeah. So this red guy is 0.004 now. At the peak of that bull run, Redcoin sold for, I'm sure many of you have not seen this yet. Redcoin sold for 2 cents, 2.8 cents at the peak of the bull run from 0.001. So I mean, and somebody like that guy probably have bought it when it was when he had like 4 zeros in front. And then he cleared 2 of those zeros. So it's a numbers game and it's understanding market cycle. So for many of those meme coins, if you get in real early, you can make some ridiculous money. Like I said, and I think I said it on this call before. I bought what's the name? Shiba. I don't even know. Shiba had been around when I bought it. I bought it like £500, and unfortunately, I moved it to an exchange. Then the exchange went into maintenance. When Shiba peaked out, if I sold my Shiba when it peaked out, I could have cashed out for nothing less than 20K on £500. So, I mean, £500 is not going to send me to. It's not going to send me to the village. But I could very much use the 20K as well. So yeah, it's just one of those opportunity, as we call them, opportunity coins that you can if you don't mind. Well, I don't usually tell people about them because not everybody is a mature investor. So yeah, they don't usually have use cases, but in bull markets, local coins generally pop like crazy. And believe me when I tell you that you are going to see 200 plus Bitcoin before this year ends, guaranteed, like guaranteed. It just became more guaranteed it now, actually, from the events of this week. So by that time, I mean, think about it. If Bitcoin is selling at 200K and you invested 0.1 Bitcoin as your overall portfolio when Bitcoin was 50K, I mean, that's automatically 4x in Bitcoin terms. Yeah, somebody I'm asking, am I still playing some fake? See, all the quote and unquote shit coins, as they say, all of them are going to pump. All you just need to wait for is for Bitcoin price to go to all-time high. You will see what will happen. You can mark my words. So this is FEG. This is FEG between May and now. FEG was selling at the peak for how much? 3.7, 0.00003.37. Almost to 40 from C. What's the price here? From 0.00001, 40x. So the same thing. And FEG tokens even, I mean, he even has use cases. He also has, he's a meme coin, but he has use cases, has a strong community. So this is a typical parabolic move. Now it's gone into accumulation. The next move, believe you me, is going to be more than this. The next move might be sitting at somewhere around here, like 0.00, cut off 2 zeros from what it is today. Same thing with FEG, same thing with Shiba, same thing with Akita. So you just need the market to recover, then you see what I'm saying. And I'm going to remind you guys whenever this happens. Remember I told you about this on the first week, in the first week of June. So that's the way the market reacts when the Bitcoin price goes up, because the Bitcoin is the big ship in the ocean that causes the waves to carry everybody up, basically. So it's not really a function of their own use cases. And I mean, interestingly, that pans across even coins with proper use cases, because the more Bitcoin grows in price, the more market confidence increases. The more market confidence increases, the more altcoins gains value, because every altcoin's value is directly or indirectly tied to the value ascribed to Bitcoin. If you didn't learn anything today, that one you should keep it in your left hand, or if you're left-handed, you should keep it in your right hand. I don't know if you have any other questions. I think we're good for today. Have a lovely weekend, everyone. See you again next week. And have a nice time. Don't worry too much if your portfolio is still down. Just give it a little more time. As I've said, it might take 1 week, it might take 2 weeks, but it's not going to be long before you start waking up and smiling again.
So, Demi.
Yes, sir.
Thanks again for your usual reassurances. I think we need this to keep our hearts calm. So one last question: when is CryptoPulse Weekly launching its psych ward?
Okay. For the benefit of people who don't understand what's going on here, the doctor colleague has requested that he wants CryptoPulse to launch a psychiatric ward to treat crypto investors that are suffering from withdrawal symptoms. Anyways, we do have a number of platforms coming up on Patreon. I will intimate you guys with it. We have a 2-tier package that we're going to launch on Patreon that is going to be more interactive and more personified or customized to each person's needs. We're launching this month, definitely. And you also have access to more market insight, because I mean, I remember somebody asking me, why are you so confident? Like, what's making you, can you show me this, the reason for your, strong confidence? Like, yeah, if you see the data doesn't lie. So regardless of what your emotions feel about what is going on, the data never lies. So if you know the data never lies, as a technologist who's deployed enterprise software for over a decade, I know the data never lies. If you get the data right, everything eventually is going to align with the data. It's the same thing with stock price. If the stock price of a particular company is not correlating with the company fundamentals, like if the company is performing so well and the stock price is doing so badly, at some point, one is going to catch up with the other. It's the same thing. So when you're looking at the fundamentals and you're looking at the data in front of you, and what's happening on the market does not correlate with the data. You know that eventually the market is going to take a correction and follow the data. So being on our platforms will actually, I think, give you some of those level of assurances and reassurances that it seems to, because to so many, I know now, many people just feel like I'm trying to psych you up and pump you up. No, I'm actually talking based on hard data and analytics. Well, yeah, we've taken your we've taken your request on board, Dr. Ashandobi, and we'll see to it.
Thank you.
Rita, you had your mic on. Did you want to say something?
No, I just wanted to say goodbye when it finishes.
Okay. Mr. Adele, what's WCRU? I don't know what WCRU is. Can you expatiate on that? Or does anybody know what WCRU is in the stock market?
Yeah, well done, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want you to do some maybe some background checkup in order for you to know with your experience, because actually we have been on the project for like 2 years now, and it has been approved by SEC. It has been approved by SEC and in US, and there's everyone buying the WCR, you have to lock up for 1 year, which is the condition from SEC. So I just need your experience about it.
Okay, I will take a look at it. I'll take a look at it and try to find out what they're about. It's interesting though that they're not selling on. So like I tell people, there are companies that are actually dealing in the space, meaning they're trading and they're building in the crypto ecosystem. There are other companies that are leveraging on the popularity and the goodwill of the crypto ecosystem to build their own products. So these guys, for instance, look to me like they're one of those companies. They're registered with SEC from what I can see. They don't have a token on, I mean, at least it's not on CoinMarketCap, and I've not seen it on CoinGecko either.
No, they are not on crypto world yet. Just on stock.
Yes, but they are claiming allegiance with crypto. So
yes,
to be honest, I'm very
yes, it's still coming there,
yeah.
But it's still a security token.
Yeah, so I'm very wary of that, because I mean, tons and tons of people have had very nasty experiences with such companies, and I mean, part of the reason crypto got a bad name back in 2017 was because of this. I think it was one coin. I can't remember that particular coin. There was this PhD woman that was founding it around then, and a lot of people fell for it. Only for it. They never had a token, had no blockchain, no smart contract. It was just a huge Ponzi scheme, and they kept sucking in money. So I'm not convinced. I mean, I'm not convinced because somebody is registered with SEC doesn't mean they can't rug pull. They can't rug pull anyway. They can file for bankruptcy, and the worst that will happen is SEC will go after their insurance companies, and those one can't pay everything. So I'm not particularly, a fan of the traditional financial system, the way it's being set up, because like they say in Niger Palace, no rero, it's
actually
it's all a fab.
They have a blockchain. They have a blockchain already. They have their own blockchain. Yeah.
Okay, I'll check them out. I'll check them out and let you know.
I just want your this, because there are lots of it's a big project, so to speak. I just need your own expertise on it.
Yeah. I'll have a look at it. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I can give you 10 of some such of this kind of projects that I either know or directly involved with. But that are still like, they're still sitting outside the ecosystem. So I'll see how it is, and I'll come back to you guys. No problem. All right, guys. Thank you very much for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
Good night.
See you again next week. Have a nice weekend, everyone.
Same to you. Thanks a lot, Jimmy.